I'm telling you, these scams are they're not they're not built for you in your like your right mind. Not right mind is not the word to say, but like when you're at your strongest. They're meant to hit you when like you're just down and out for the count. Like you need that last that spark to get you going and you feel like you're gonna change your life. So yo, what is going on, guys? It is your boy Cam back here with another podcast. Cam Chronicles episode 8. Man, I was supposed to record this episode early in the week before I had to do some obligations during the week, which we'll get into. Um, and then I was supposed to have it all edited and it's supposed to be releasing at like 12 a.m. on Sunday, perfectly edited and everything was supposed to go according to plan. And yeah, that is not the case. I'm recording this about 4 hours before the end of. I'm recording at 8:43 p.m. on a Sunday, and I intend to get it up in the next 3 hours. So I got about 45 minutes to record and 2 to 3 hours um to edit and upload this boy. So we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it, man. I can't miss an episode. But yeah, this is episode 8, man. I think we got some good topics as always. I always say that because why do you come to Cam Chronicles? We always got great tips and we always got great topics to talk about that the people want to hear. So maybe I'll have to open up to some suggestions on topics I should talk about and yeah, get some feedback from y'all. But y'all got to comment down below if y'all want some stuff talked about or interact just with what I said on the podcast, man. I'd really appreciate it. You don't got to do it, but if you don't do it, make sure to drop a like, man. Just drop a like. Just drop a like for me. I got you an hour worth of entertaining content. A like would be very much appreciated. All right, man. Let's hop into it. As you all can see, looking fresh, man. Finally got a little cut, man. I don't know if I've stated on here, but my barber, he quit his shop when COVID hit, and yeah, that was tough. I couldn't really get a haircut. I didn't get a haircut for like 8 months. And I think I had my dad cut it, and I cut it myself one time. But yeah, I actually did go see my barber 3 months ago. He did like a home appointment. So he cut my hair then. But since then I haven't had it cut. And yeah, my brother Anthony, man, you know who I'm talking about when you watch this, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. He hooked me up. He hooked me up with the cut. I think it looks good, way better than I could have done myself, man. He's not a barber, but he is might as well be. I was joking with him and saying he needs to be my travel barber, KX Travel Barber or Cam Chronicles. I know that's different channel, man. I'll be mixing them up, but yeah. Just came off. I basically took this whole week off. Didn't really work that much. I was trying to get some content finished up for the channel and didn't even work. So it's tough because it feels like I wasted time, but I definitely got further on the project. So should be seeing some videos coming out this week because I am now back in town. But I went to a church conference and I was able to see a lot of people that I haven't seen in like a year and a half. So it's good, man. Of course, with all the necessary precautions, masks, sanitization, and screening and all of that for temperatures and everything. And so it was good to see them. And if you're watching this, good to see you. I don't know what I was gonna say after that. I was a brain fart there. But yeah, anyway, we are getting back on the grind. So do make sure to look out for the streams if you're interested in my gaming stuff or you already know about my gaming stuff on the KX. Yeah, be looking for those streams. We'll be streaming Monday through Saturday as usual, as business as usual. But yeah, let's go ahead and hop right into the first topic here. It'll probably be the title of the stream because it's the most catchy, but it's probably going to be the longest segment of the stream. I mean, the podcast. It's probably going to be the longest segment of the podcast because it's a little bit of story time. Yeah, it's a little bit of story time. Got a little bit of story time for y'all. So I think I heard this on a podcast. Most of my ideas come from a podcast, and then I have something to add on to that idea that I like, or that just something that I picked up on. So this guy was saying that being an adult is about not getting scammed. And I was like, man, that hits home to the core. there are so many things in this world that feel like they're just rigged against you. Like there is like as soon as you're a turn an adult, um, it's like there's all these things like car insurance, uh, I guess you could say rent, but that's not really like a tricky thing. But just bills like paying for the dentist, paying for the doctor, life insurance, all of these things, taxes, buying a car, all of these things that should be pretty straightforward because you know that everybody in life is probably going to use, all of the things that I just said. They should be straightforward, but they're extremely complex, and nobody has taught you how to take care of them. And if you're lucky, you do have parents that will teach you, and that's great. But you're not gonna know everything, and it's still you're still very susceptible to getting scammed, especially like well, just taxes. Like, come on, man, how are you gonna build a system where I gotta pay money to you and you just can't tell me what money? It's like not almost I don't know if I would trust them to tell me what how much money I owe them, but yeah, man, I it just needs to be easier. But I can't even go on a tangent because I don't even know how to do my taxes yet. I'm still learning, so I don't want to misspeak on that. But I want to speak particularly um of my cocky self in a way. Going into college or in high school, I just saw a lot of college kids getting scammed, and I'm like, dude, how are you falling for scams? How are you actually falling for these scams? And it turns out, the broke life, you be falling for a lot of scams, and I got like semi close to falling for a scam in college where it's like the gift card scam. So if you haven't heard of that, basically, they will email you and they're like, hey, we need you to shop at these stores and review your experience shopping. We're going to give you a list of items to buy at the store. You review, um, you review the store experience and everything that was happening, and then you get to keep like $200 out of the, I think 4,000 that they give you to spend on items there. Um, and the whole scam is basically they have you buy nothing but gift cards. So of course you can't return them. And then they have you send the gift cards to them. So, there's no return on that. But they send a fake check to you, which you deposit into the bank, and that's how you buy the gift cards. And so the bank cannot tell that that's a fake check until like I think it was like 2 weeks to a month. It takes them to realize that that's a fake check. And so by the time you spend all of your money. What you really done is spent $4,000 of your own money, and you spent 3,800 or 3,750 if you get 250 back. So you spent $3,750 of your own money, and you gave them all that money and gift cards, and now they're scot free because they sent you a false check. So that's how that works. But yeah, I signed up for that, then realized it was a scam. Like once I was reading through it, they sent me like the instructions, and I was like, this is a scam. Um, but that's not the story I'm here to talk about, man. I am here to talk about a little thing called, well, I don't even know what it's called, but I don't want to specifically say Forex. I alluded to this in my last episode. If you watched that, great episode, by the way. It'll be linked up here, up here. So go watch it if you haven't already. But it really is the scam of I Am Academy. I think they're called that now. I don't know what they go by because they changed names, or it was like I Am Markets Live. But I know you guys don't know what I'm talking about, or maybe some of you do. But basically, these are this company teaches people how to trade in Forex. Forex is the foreign exchange market, and is the top grossing market ever. Like it's the foreign exchange market. I forgot how many billions are made per day or whatever. But yeah, it's the top grossing market, right? And it's very volatile. It's not something that you put a whole bunch of money and let it sit. You kind of just it's really meant for day trading. You get in, you get out for a 20-minute trade or an hour trade, and you make the money or you lose the money. Sounds like gambling, but the people that know how to do it, it's more winning than losing, I guess you would say. But I was interested in how it worked, and no, that's not even the story. That's not even the story. COVID. I'll set the scene. COVID hit. and I'm back in my room, just chilling. At this point, I'm kind of figuring out how I'm going to do school. At the house. What equipment do I need to be on Zoom and all these kind of things. But I'm also like a little bit depressed. I'm like, man, I can't be on campus. It feels like I'm not doing that much because I'm not really doing school right now. Or, I'm just sitting on Zoom all day and I'm not really doing that much. And I can't make money because I had a job at Penn State. So I was about to go right back to that job. And I wasn't making much, but I was, it was still, $600, $700 a week or whatever it is. And so I'm like, yo, I gotta make money somewhere. And I wasn't even actively looking for this, but I'm telling you, these scams they're not they're not built for you in your right mind. Not right mind is not the word to say, but like when you're at your strongest. They're meant to hit you when like you're just down and out for the count. Like you need that spark to get you going and you feel like you're going to change your life. So I was on Instagram scrolling. And one of the people that I follow had posted this person, on their story. And, they were like, oh, yeah, she's doing big things, and something about how much money that this person had made. Right. And so naturally, it was a lot of money. So I was like, all right, let me click, what is this? I'm thinking like, it's probably something crazy, right? It's either a scam or, either they're scam, like basically they're scamming. And then that's why they're making all this money. But it looked like a professional video. So I'm like, maybe they're not scamming. Like, let's see what's going on. And this person was, in front. This person was actually at like Michigan University giving a talk about the foreign exchange market and how blah blah blah, I can make you this much money, and that person, this person has made $100,000, and this person has made $1 million a month, and all these things that are just red flags, big red flags. Like, bro, you can't. There just isn't a cheat code in life, and we'll get that we'll get to that message at the end, but um basically I'm like, man, and she's saying all the right things to get a college kid like, man, that's actually a good investment. So the hook is that, hey, pay $250, $250, and we will, for it's gonna be $250 a month, I think, or maybe it was 150. I ended up paying 250, but I'll tell you why in a second. It was like 150 a month to this academy. You learn how to trade in the foreign exchange market. I would just say Forex. And basically you will make back that 150 or 250, whatever it is, and double it within that first month, paying for your next month. So like you'll be able, the 150 is nothing. Just put that in, you'll get it back, and you'll start making 1,000 a month. And then once you actually learn it, you can make anywhere from 5 to 100 grand a month. If you're a great trader, let's say. And you know the red flags, they were there. They hit, a couple of them hit, but I did a little bit of research into what this person was all about, and I was like, man, it seems like the people that she follows, the people that's following her are vouching for her. People that I know, like people that I know personally, are vouching for her. And I'm like, and I say her, it is her, but I'm not going to disclose who that person is. I, so yeah, I'm like, I'm naturally like, you know what? I don't really feel like doing the due diligence of vetting this entire thing, even though I was getting $150. But I'm like, yo, this is, if nothing, I lose the $150 and I learned something. And maybe I didn't, make it back with trading or whatever. I learned something, because the foreign exchange market isn't a scam. The people that are trying to teach you how to be in the foreign exchange market and have multi-level marketing schemes are the scam. So we're getting that. We're getting to that. So of course I hit this person up and I'm like, yo, I want to do this. I got the 150 or whatever the original fee was. And, she was like, cool. I want to hop on a call, to, just tell you about it. And then we can go from there. And that was perfect. Like, it was just perfect. I feel like these people have been doing it forever. It was perfect. Like a sales pitch because the thing is I was all in on the scam. I was all in. I from 1 to 2 hours of watching videos and seeing who vouched for this person that I didn't know, but was vouched for by a lot of people that I didn't know. I was ready to give 150. She didn't have to call me or do anything, but she did that specifically to personalize this to make it seem like, I got your back, we're gonna, I'm not trying to scam you. And these things, bro, it was just the perfect setup. But anyway, she calls me and get on a Zoom call, and she's talking about the business and all this kind of stuff and what you're doing, just reassuring me and like, this is gonna be great. I haven't. She didn't say I haven't, but she was like, yeah, it's great to see people like you that are just really understand what this is about and realize the potential to make money. And I think that we're gonna be millionaires together. And it's like this sounds so. I know this sounds so pathetic on the other side of the camera, but and it sounded pathetic to me. And I will say that it sounded a little bit pathetic to me. I'm like, all right, man. I'm not really buying the whole millionaire, but if this can make a couple of thousand a month, hey, that's something we can look at, And I'm knowledge of just money. Like how does this work? How does the foreign exchange market work? I didn't even know this existed till this video, right? So I'm like, okay, all right. But at the end of the video, I mean, at the end of the call, oof, the swiftest, oh man, the swiftest upsell I've ever seen. Like she realized that I was all in. I was down to give the 150. I was intrigued about the business. I wanted to learn. She knew I wanted to learn. She knew it felt that I was desperate. That's what it felt like. When I was just like, I was really just interested in what the foreign exchange market was, but she could realize that I'm like, yo, I'm really actually I want to invest in this because I want to actually have something out. I want to get something out of it. I want to get knowledge out of it, right? So she was like, I'm glad you really made a 150 and that's great, and sometimes, we even have people pay for the 250 package that includes, a multitude of different, things that help you gain more money in the foreign exchange market, bro. And dude, when I tell you I couldn't have said yes quicker, I was like, oh, you know what? Now I think, I looked at the list of things that they added. And of course, it's like great. It's names that or like listed items that make you think. It's like, oh, it's a scanner of the market that tells you when to buy and dip. If I don't know anything about it, it's like, oh, it's a scan. Like this tells me exactly when to make money and lose money. So, of course, I want access to all this kind of stuff when it's really just more access to learning material that can be found online. But anyway, the upsell pitch got me. So now I'm paying 250 a month, so keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. So the first week rolls around. And keep in mind, I'm still trying to do college. I'm still in college at this point. Because I say to this point because I'm on a semester off right now for anyone that hasn't been up to date with the podcast. But I'm still in college at this point. When I tell you I was working 24/7, I was streaming on my KX channel. I was doing getting all my Zoom classes done and everything. And after all that stuff was done, I was on a Zoom with this community of people trying to learn this thing. And to be honest, I did learn a lot. They actually taught you how to kind of trade in the foreign exchange market. And long story short, like I said, forex or the foreign exchange market is not a scam. That's what people kind of mix up. It's the businesses that try to sell you the promise of doing well in the forex market, or giving you like a scanner or like yeah, it's really just a word for it, like a scanner of the market, that's going to tell you when to buy or sell. Like it's just not. It predicts some right, but the percentage of how right it is off completely. Like you're going to lose more money than you make, is what I'm saying. So, I was grinding. I was like, I watched all these videos. I learned about the market. And like I said, I did really actually learn about the market. It wasn't false information. But they were charging me 250 a month for things I could have found online that I just wasn't aware of, But here I am thinking I'm getting a quality education. So, I start trading And, I do pretty well. I'm like, okay, I made like about 25 bucks, off of I think a $100 account. I'm like, okay, cool, 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 cool. Close that trade, and long story short, I mean, I probably end up making probably 1,000 to $1,500 in the market, right? And I'm like, okay, this is cool. This is cool. That's later when I kind of figured out the market for myself. Before that part, like this is when the COVID cam is realizing that this is a scam. So before I'm starting to make a little bit of money in the market, but this is not right away. So I've already paid for 250 for 1 month. Now I'm in the second month and I've just made that 20. I've just started that 25 because they're like, okay, don't trade for the first 2 weeks, just learn. And then of course I got other stuff going on, so I didn't even trade. And so now it's the second month. Now I'm $500 in and I've made $25 in return. And so I'm like, okay, okay, okay. Gotta start trading. I start trading, but as I go to these meetings, it just starts to feel like a cult. Like it literally, like they're like, yo, if you aren't doing this, you got to get rid of your family that doesn't believe in that you're going to be a millionaire, and you got to get rid of the friends. I'm like, yo, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, and this is not the initial person that I had, contacted. Is like her superiors, it's the multi-level marketing scheme. There are people above. Everybody has, there's a boss per se. There's always a person a level up, right? And so these are people, they have like little names for themselves of how much money they're making based off residual income, which we'll get to in a second. But yeah, these big people that are supposedly making millions of dollars, they're like, yo, I grinded, I got rid of my mom, my dad, my son. I'm like, Jesus, man. And they're like, yeah, now I'm a millionaire, and they didn't believe in me, and I cut them all off. They not. I'm like, yo, all right, all right, all right, all right. But when that like starts to hit my brain, I'm like, let me start to do some research on this. So I do some research on the academy and all that sort of stuff. And bro, I don't think I've definitely been more scared of my life, but that was definitely a very scary time in my life. I was like, bro, this company has been sued for, for fraud multiple times. They changed their name. The CEO of this organ, or a partner of this company, worked for a scheme that was what's it called, a Ponzi scheme, I think, a Ponzi scheme, um business called it starts with a V, like a Vegem. It's not Vegemite, or I can't remember what it is, but yeah, he was the CEO of this company that was deemed completely a Ponzi scheme, went to jail, all, the whole nine. And I'm like, yo, what did I just get myself into? And now here comes the kicker. So I bring this up to the person that is, that I originally connected to. I'm like, okay, I'm seeing all these things, what's going on? Why isn't this public knowledge? Or, is this safe? Did you know about this? All these things. And this person just goes right back to trying to get me back in the swing of things. And she's just like, yo, don't believe these things on the internet. They were sued for another reason, basically just dodging all the questions. And that's when I knew. I was like, this is tough. Like something shady is going on here. Long story short, I know this has already been a long story, but long story short, how these people are actually making money is not through trading with the foreign exchange market. Yes, they do know how to trade in the foreign exchange market. Yes, there are some people that do not do the thing I'm about to describe, and only make their money through the foreign exchange market. But that is very, very rare because it's very, very hard to have a great return on, to have the kind of returns that these select people have in the foreign exchange market, just because it's so volatile and it's hard to predict those trades. Um, so, uh, basically how these guys were making their money is off of residual income. So there's a hierarchy, like I think there's like a P50, a P500, a C5, a C25. It's like all these different names for basically just how much you're making. And to get to these different ranks, you have to have people sign up with your like website URL or whatever. So to the actual website of the thing that you log into of their business. So you have your own little referral link is what I'm trying to say. And if you refer other people, then the first two people, if you refer two people, then you no longer have to pay 250 a month. It's free, right? So it's like, oh, that's great. As long as I keep the thing is you have to keep those two people. If they stop paying and they're like, oh, this is for me, then you have to get somebody to replace them or you're going to be paying. But basically, if you don't know how a pyramid scheme works, which is what multi-level marketing is on a broader scale, or like on a hidden scale is not that's I'm not saying it right, but I think you all can understand what I'm saying. I'm tired. Basically, there's a guy at the top that's making a lot of money, the head of the company, and all of these other people that are C25, C500s are making millions of dollars, but it's just because they have tens of thousands of people under them that are also paying that fee. And that fee some of it is going to the company, but some of it is going to them. And that's how they're making those millions of dollars. If you have 10,000 people paying $250 a month, and then you times that by 12 months, it's a lot of money. So you can only imagine, how much the company is making and how much that person is actually making. So obviously these, the taxes that they use to get me into the business, quote unquote, are the taxes that they use to basically just make money. They aren't worried about the foreign exchange market or anything like that. And they just want to get people under them, get you to believe that you're actually going to make a whole bunch of money in the foreign exchange market, which isn't true. It might, it might happen. It can. Not saying that not saying that it cannot happen, but it's very rare. It's just like predicting GameStop and having $1 billion now. It's just as rare as that. You have to actually learn it and be diligent about learning it for a couple of years to understand where to trade and how to trade yourself and not relying on somebody else's signals or calls on when to trade on what pairs in the foreign exchange market. So yeah, I basically, I quote unquote, I got scammed. I think I was in the business, quote unquote, for 4 months. So I ended up paying like $1,000. But then I ended up making 1,500 in the foreign exchange market. So I actually made profit. But most people do not. They literally are in the business and like they're trying to balance college and family life and all this kind of stuff. And they just continue to get wrapped up in the business. They believe in the people that are telling them to cut off their family and don't believe in your family and all this crazy stuff. Because you're going to be a millionaire and you're going to, all you got to do is get 10,000 people under you. And it's crazy. If you go watch, I hope that I'll be able to link it, but there's this guy on YouTube that his name is James Janney. And he makes documentary, like videos on YouTube, and he kind of really blew up. He only has like 10 or 15 videos, but he blew up off his first 5 to 6 videos, because they were very well done. But he did one on multi-level marketing that will help you understand a little bit more of what I'm talking about. If you didn't get a sense, I know I was all over the place, so I do apologize. But hopefully that should be linked here. Go check that out if you are interested, kind of in this story, or you want to make sure you don't get scammed by other kind of multi-level marketing tactics. He just breaks it down of what a market, multi-level marketing company does and how they recruit and how it basically works. But in theory, within like 20, I can't remember if it was 25 to 35 rounds of getting people under you. Like if one person gets 2 people under them, and then each of those 2 people get 2 people more, and you keep multiplying. I don't think it's even 25. I think it's like 10. But if you do that like 10 times, you will literally have more than the population of the entire world. So that's the downfall of a multi-level marketing scheme, because once you get a whole bunch of people or all the people that you're going to get in the business, then the people at the bottom suffer. they aren't making money from the residual income, and they're just relying on the foreign exchange market. So they would have to all do well in the foreign exchange market to continue paying for the program, but they're not. So the reality is that they're not going to do well. They're going to be paying this money, and so they're going to leave. And that means that the people above them are not going to get paid. And so they're going to leave. And so the whole pyramid topples over. But yeah, man, I did make it out positive with that. I was strategic in how long I stayed in there. I did learn a lot on how to trade, but they also have like signals that people that have been trading for a long time will send in a group chat. And that's one of the access things that you're paying for. They will send you trades that are actually going to make you money. I found like 75% of them were actually making money. So I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But yeah, I just kind of got lucky. I would not recommend. I got kind of lucky picking and choosing the ones that they sent, and I traded based on that. So yeah, that is my story, man. I just know it was all over the place. So I do apologize in advance. But yeah, being adult is about not getting scammed. So, don't rush to adulthood, y'all. It is not it's fun, but there's challenges for sure. But the next topic on the list is it's funny, I heard this sentiment the other day that people are allergic to average. And I definitely agree with this in terms of myself in some ways. And nowadays on social media, everybody wants to be the best, have the most money, have the best cars, have the best shoes, have the best dressing, look the best, blah, 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 blah. It's, so on and so forth. The average life is like seen as almost defeat. Like making 50 grand a year is seen as defeat by our generation. Like there's nobody that no, I'm not saying there's nobody. I shouldn't say there's nobody, is what I'm saying. I shouldn't say there's nobody, is what I'm saying. I shouldn't say there's nobody. But a lot of our generation, if they were offered $50,000 to $60,000, they're like, bro, that's not nearly enough. I'm trying to make more. I guess unless they were offered that for, to sit around the house or do something that they really loved and they knew they weren't going to make money on that. I guess that's a different thing. But if they were offered 50 to 60% or $50,000 to $60,000 a year, that's not a lot for them. They all want to, be 100,000 plus and be making $1 million a year or 100,000 a month, and that's really what social media pushes you to do. Because all you see every day is the top 1%. You see those 1% of people that have millions of dollars, and you're like, oh, they're 17. Well, I should be making $1 million like, Charlie D'Amelio. I should be, she's 16 and I'm 20 and I haven't made $1 million. What am I doing? I need to be on that level. And I think it's a dangerous thing. I would say that I've fallen victim to it, to an extent. That falls along the lines of what the story that I just told, but maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later. Um, it's a dangerously thin line to walk um when you just want the best of everything. Like you're so obsessed with you making yourself to this standard that you're not actually enjoying life. And it's one of the things I'm realizing and I should say, yeah, beginning to realize. I haven't, it's not something I've overcome. I always want to be transparent with that like the advice that I'm giving people is like, yo, I haven't, I do realize that this is working for me right now. And I'm getting better, but it hasn't like, I'm not fully cured. Like I don't know the answers. I'm just saying that this is something that's helped me. And I'm learning from this. So, just being able to kind of realize like, hey, if I'm making $70,000, like that's good. Like you don't need to be making $1 million a year at 20 years old or even 25 years old or 30 years old. It's like you can't bring your reality. Sorry for the, my phone buzzing, but you can't bring your reality or compare your reality to the top 1% reality. You just can't. And can you strive to be the 1%? I think 100% you can. And I hope you get to that 1%. I think there's nothing wrong with that. But if it's taking an effect on your mental health and your overall enjoyment of life, I think that's where it begins to draw the line. And you have to look at what things are actually tearing you down. Is this going to be worth it in the long run? And what kind of risk you're taking. And so I think that was just an interesting sentiment that people are allergic to average, man. Nobody wants to have anything average. People don't post average Instagram selfies. That's why people don't post on Instagram. They only post on Instagram when they have something amazing to shoot, you know? And I just don't even post on Instagram anymore. Because I could care less to take a photo of something that's like really impressive, but then I also don't want to put out garbage either. So right there with everybody. Like I don't want to put out garbage stuff on Instagram because on Instagram it's just perfect face tuned everything, and I'm not even talking about selfies of myself. I'll just be like these things that I see that would be cool, and I'm like, I just want to enjoy it in the moment. I think that's what really has turned me off from Instagram, but that's a whole different tangent. But yeah, let me know what you all think about that. Do you think that's a toxic thing that our generation has? Um, yeah, I just found out that I'm Gen Z, which is tough. I thought I was like, I thought the 2000, I thought it was started like in 2003, but guess I'm the old Gen Z. I think it starts in 1997 or something like that. I don't know. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments, but yeah. All right, next topic. This is something I've been thinking about for a while, and I don't have the answer for it yet, but just wanted to talk about it on the podcast. How do you genuinely, I can't speak. As I said, I am tired. I just drove 7 hours back from, this church conference. So forgive me if I can't enunciate my words properly. So what I was trying to say is, how do you genuinely thank the core audience, just your audience in general, for watching you and basically putting you on, in terms of YouTube? How do you actually thank them and show your appreciation? And I think that's a very interesting thing that I see some creators doing a lot of and some creators not doing a lot of, like, or they feel that they are, or that it feels that there's systems in place that they are thanking them, but it doesn't feel like that. And I know it gets so hard, when you get on that level where you have millions of people following you, it's very hard to, number one, thank everybody individually, which is almost impossible. Or quite literally impossible. And then two, actually give back to the community in a way that's not like a lump sum, where like, okay, hey, all million people, I'm going to give a Jeep away. So one of you is going to win this Jeep, like one out of the million or 2 million people that follow you, is going to get this reward. And it's looked at as you doing charity, which I have nothing wrong with. I think it's a perfectly fine thing to do, but I don't know. I just want a genuine way to actually thank people that watch the podcast, my KX videos, and a way that I can show appreciation towards those people that has sentimental value. And it could be some monetary value, per se, but actually matters to the person. So I don't know. You have to let me know down in the comments, but I've been thinking, I know I've been talking a lot about NFTs on the podcast, been thinking about creating my own NFT. I think I've spoken about this aspect of the NFT, but the good thing about non-fungible tokens is that built into the non-fungible tokens, you can basically allow the purchaser of that token to have access to different things in your like social media career. So let's say I sold an NFT on my KX channel. I sold it for $5. I'm like, hey, this is from a video that I did early on, and all of the people that follow me early, they know this video, and that's why I'm making an NFT. But what the NFT really comes with is perks, saying, hey, when I'm actually big, you will have the privileges to be first in line to play with me on stream. You will have the privileges to be first in line at a meet and greet that I may have in the future. Things like that, giving you access to the creator, which is actually a good way to give back to the person. It's like, yes, I understand that as a creator, I can make money from non-fungible tokens or NFTs. But the big thing is giving back The big thing that I see with NFTs is giving back to the community that has built me up. And so I'm looking at how do I create that for my brand, and then how do I really structure something that is going to give way more value to the person that bought it than me. And I also like NFTs because yes, let's say I sold 500 of them at $5 a pop. Well, that's $2,500. So it's like, okay, I'm at a net gain of $2,500. Well, I guess maybe I have to pay money to do the NFT, and I don't even know. I don't know the slightest clue of how to do it, but I'm trying to figure it out. Um, but let's just say I net $2,500. Then as my channel grows, that NFT becomes worth more money because the perks that come with that, other people want. And so maybe somebody's not a fan of me anymore, or they want to sell it, because it's now a valuable token. Maybe it's going for $1,000 now. Maybe it's going for $20,000. That would be amazing. But maybe it's going for $20,000. They sell that, piece. They then have made how much money? They've made, you know, well, let's just say they've made 17 grand, and 15% of that $20,000 goes to the creator. So when they do sell it, they gain a whole bunch of money. But then I also reap the benefits of them selling that as like a parting, as a parting gift. Like, okay, I sold you this, I gave all these rewards to you, but now that you're selling it, I like a little bit of your money that you're getting from this other person. But they're also, it's like they get the value, they get the value of being a part of my community, but when they sell it, they also get the value of the price that it is. Um, so it's like it's a win-win, and I get some of the value back, when they do sell it. So it's a complicated matter, and I know that not everybody um, realizes what the space can actually do right now. But I'm thinking about that in terms of, sorry about using the mic, in terms of genuinely thanking my audience. But yeah, I don't know. It just feels dull when I'm sitting on here. It's like, thank you, for listening. When I obviously truly do mean it. It's hard to believe it, because it's hard for me to believe that the people that I watch are truly appreciative, and I think that they are. But it is you telling me through a video screen that you truly appreciate it, is less heartfelt than in person, or an actual thing that's going to help me out or get close to the community. So yeah, I don't know. Let me know your ideas and your thoughts on that in the chat, and yeah, maybe we could come up with something, and I could take one of those suggestions. Um, but yeah, I think that's gonna do it for this episode. I'm not gonna linger on too long. I know I kind of went overboard on my story, so I apologize that. But hopefully, you got some value out of it, and you don't fall down the same rabbit hole. So that's cool. I think the company was called like I Am Academy or I Markets Live. You look them up, you'll know what they go by now. But yeah, let's do the jam key. I'm not even gonna edit that. I'm just not gonna edit that. Let's get to the cam cheat codes. That's a mouthful. All right, for the cham, man, come on. For the cam cheat codes, we have a good one today, and I sincerely apologize if I actually said this cheat code before, but it's the cheat code that I have on this little notepad, and I'm just gonna read it and talk about it, because I'm gonna talk about it in more in depth if I already talked about it. But I talked about finding a platform that, makes you unique, and I obviously stand by that advice still. But it's also imperative that you find a platform that is not that has not reached viewership and creator equilibrium. And what I mean by that is that there is, viewership and creator equilibrium means that there is a demand, and that demand is being largely met by the creators that are already on that platform. So if there's 5 million people that are trying to view content, and there's 500,000 creators that all 500,000 of them, those 5 million people can fit within those categories of 500,000 creators, then that means that the platform is at equilibrium. And so an example of one of those would be YouTube. YouTube has, not, and this this doesn't mean that you can't grow on YouTube. Obviously, I'm still trying to do it. It just means that it is a platform that everybody realizes that, hey, I can actually put my stuff on here for free, and I can put longer form content on here and kind of just ramble on. And so people have kind of become keen to capitalizing on YouTube. And that's why, excuse me here. And that's why you see so many small channels trying to make it, on YouTube, because they realize what could happen if they were to succeed on YouTube, which is a great thing. But the platforms that have not met that, viewership and creator equilibrium have the potential to make you the most money for your content. And now it does depend on what your content is, centered for, what audience it's centered for, and kind of how it's cut in terms of how long it is. And, is it portrait or is it landscape? Things like that. But examples of platforms that are not at equilibrium viewership and creator equilibrium are Instagram and Facebook. There are others. Some would say LinkedIn, but I'm just not huge on that. And it's kind of it's kind of weird if you're in like gaming, you wouldn't be posting on LinkedIn. Maybe you would, I don't know. But Instagram and LinkedIn, Facebook. Let me explain to you why that is. So in Instagram, there and I would also add TikTok, and I'll also add TikTok, and I'll kind of do a brief explanation of all of them. For Instagram, it's pretty much the same thing with TikTok. Instagram, it's very easy to discover content that you haven't indulged in before. The Explore page knows you perfectly. It's going to give you exactly what you want to see, but by new people. It's not going to give you the same people that you already follow. It's going to give you similar content, but it's also going to push some different content on you. And if you're into Reels, you just swipe and it basically gives you a new reel, just like TikTok. That's content that's being quote unquote forced on you. You are just scrolling. You didn't decide to click on that video because of a thumbnail like YouTube. You didn't decide to delineate your time or dedicate your time to actually watching that video. It just started playing when you swiped. And by default, your brain is going to give 5 seconds to that video. And if it's catchy, you keep watching. If it's not, you keep scrolling. But it's the concept of content being thrown out there at you. And you're not on Instagram. You are on Instagram for the people that you follow. Sure. But when you're scrolling through Reels, you're not there for one specific type of content. You're kind of just open to whatever content is there. And if it's funny or if it's cool, you're like, oh, great. And so that allows for a multitude more of creators to be on these kinds of apps, including Instagram and TikTok. Your whatever you create is being pushed to people like almost against their will. Like they are going to look at that video for, maybe 1 second or maybe 10 seconds or maybe the full thing or whatever it is. My nose is so itchy. Sorry about that. They're going to watch that video in some capacity. On YouTube, if I see a thumbnail I don't like, or if the title is just average or whatever, I'm scrolling past it. I'm not watching that even 1 second of that video. I'm not giving it a chance. But TikTok and Instagram, to an extent, gives you a chance each time. They're like, hey, you already started the video. Did you like the hook? Did you like the first 5 seconds? Keep watching. And that's what gets you, that's where there is way more viewership that is on these Instagram and TikTok platforms that creators can take advantage of. So those are 2 platforms. And then also Facebook is an untapped market of an older audience. Obviously, the Facebook demographic is no longer, 12 to 20 or whatever. It's like 25 or 35 and up, because those are the people that grew up using Facebook. And that market is an untapped potential because they don't really know all about the YouTube and what's going on in YouTube, the creators on TikTok, the creators on Instagram, all of those people, they have no idea who that is. And so all this content gets posted on Facebook months and months and months later, or just the keyword is just later, weeks later, days later on Facebook, and then gets a million, 2 million views because they are just not aware of what's actually happening in the real time in this world. So the capitalism there is you have a viewership audience that has no idea that they're missing out on this content. And if you start posting your content over there, you have no idea what audience that you'll be drawing in. Like you could draw an entirely different or similar audience to what you already have on different platforms and grow whatever you want to grow. Maybe that's Facebook, or I mean, maybe that's your YouTube, but or you do Facebook and you start making money off the ads because you're putting videos up, and you find a lot of people. There's a big audience, for Facebook, and you do that. So I always like challenging, my plans on what I want to do with my business, and I think that is something I'm definitely going to look into. Um, from the beginning, I've been posting, my Fortnite clips on like Reddit and just social medias that people aren't really thinking about that have a huge potential for growth in other channels, or other platforms, or just that specific platform, and money to be made off that platform. So I thought it was a interesting um, thing to think about, and I hope you were able to take some value out of that. But like I said, that is going to do it for the end of this episode, man. It is 9:33 p.m. I want it to be done by 9:30 with recording, so we are perfectly on schedule. I'm gonna get this into the Premiere Pro, chop it up, and hopefully I can get this uploaded by 12 midnight. But yeah, I sincerely, as I said before, I do sincerely appreciate everybody that is watching my content. If you've watched just one video or 1 second of one video, or you're on this page, obviously, I guess if you're hearing this, you either scroll to the end or you watch this entire thing. So I do appreciate any time that you have dedicated to my channel, because I know it's one of the most precious things in life. And if you chose to dedicate an hour of your day, or dedicate 10 minutes to watching one segment of my podcast, or watching one of my other videos, I truly do appreciate it. But with all that being said, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. If you're watching this on Sunday night, have a great Monday. But whenever you're watching this, have a great rest of your day or night, and see you in the next one. Peace out.